It's Monday lunchtime. It's 12:30, and we have another guest on Live and LinkedIn with myself, Ashley Leeds, the 15-minute guy. And this week we have gone to the crack of dawn in the US of A because our guest today is a marketing guru based in America. Let's bring him in. Good morning to you, Jeff Wenberg. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Ashley.
Yeah, no, it's lovely for you to be here. And did your clocks go back last night?
I think that's next week. Yeah, next week.
Right. Okay. So we're a little bit early for you. I do
Yeah.
apologize. What
That's all
time?
good.
What time are you?
So 7:30 in the morning here.
All right. Okay. Well, lunchtime here, and I'm going to just let you know today's been a good day. So you're just going to
Great.
have so much fun.
All
Going to
right.
have so much fun. So tell everybody who you are, what you do, please, Jeff.
Yeah, my name's Jeff Wenberg, and I help online businesses create pitches that convert cold audiences without having to change what they sell.
That's what we want to know. That
Yeah.
is absolutely what I want to know. And you can tell you're into all of this because straight away off the bat, you've got your pitch ready. So you must hear 1,000,001 pitches. So tell me, what is the big mistake that we're all making when we're pitching?
Yeah, and like really, before I hop into that, like what I like to clarify with pitch for me, it usually has like a bit of a connotation of like, ooh, it's like like the infomercial guys and stuff. I'm just meaning like communicating the value of what you offer people. And the biggest thing that I see usually when people kind of like sales stall out and things just stop working is they usually lead with like the root cause. Here's why you're experiencing that thing that you're experiencing instead of meeting people with the thing they're experiencing in the first place. Like, hey, does your like if somebody has like a achy leg, they go, oh, well, it's probably achy because of this, like your shoe or something like that, instead of, hey, do you have an achy leg? And then every time you stand up, it cracks, and then, it sends a shiver all the way up your, you know what I mean? Like really meeting them there, and then bridging the gap to what the root cause is. They just go straight to the root cause. And usually people are like, nope, that's not what I have. So this is irrelevant to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes an awful lot of sense. Wow. Okay. So how did you get into that, Jeff
Oh
Wenberg?
man, it's been a journey.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Go on.
yeah, I mean, I've been marketing for like 15 years and have done everything all marketing wise. And about like 2 years ago, I had a bunch of clients, and it was, I was making more money than I ever had, but then it was like, there's just something I don't like about this. And there's something I do, but what is that thing that I do? Because I didn't really know what it was, but I would always end up helping people figure out like how to talk about what it is they were selling or what their service was or something. And so I ended up kind of letting go of all my clients because it's just like I'm burned out and just don't want to do this anymore. And then as I got to thinking back through like my own history and then all of my clients' history, the ones that actually succeeded, they had this dialed in. They had their messaging dialed in, they had their offer and their messaging dialed in to what their audience wanted. And the ones that were unsuccessful, or any projects I had where it was like, that didn't really work that great, realize, oh, it was the offer and like the messaging and how I'm talking about the offer. And so I started looking back, and it was like, man, everybody that I'm enjoying like helping with their marketing and stuff, we're doing this stuff of just figuring out how to talk about things so it creates demand for it. And so it's like, oh, well, there we go. That's the stuff I love to do.
Yeah. So when somebody works with you, do you do it all for them, or do you? Because the analogy I use, we either give someone a fish and they eat for a day, or we teach them to
Sure.
fish and they can carry on feeding themselves forever.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. So I have a kind of a framework that I take people through, and really what we're doing is just they're getting it out of their brain. So they're doing most of the work. I'm just helping like guide the ship, so to speak. And then we take all of their information and just put it into a pitch that, they could use anywhere that they talk about their offers.
Yeah, I'm guessing that lots of different companies have lots of different offers, for each individual company. It's
Yep.
not just one thing that they do. So, it could be a long-term project for you.
Yeah, and it always kind of the process usually is the same for
Yeah.
whatever it is you're talking about. And they can be like, a big webinar pitch, or it could just be like a quick like 2-minute pitch that you use to try and get people to book a call with you or something like that.
Yeah, or like you just did when you came straight on, it was a, I don't know,
Well,
15-second pitch straight away. We know exactly what you do, and
yeah,
we should all be ready, shouldn't we?
yeah. Because like that's actually one of the biggest things, like when people ask like, "What do you do?" Usually you get this long, it meanders all over the place, and then by the time you're done, people are like, "So what do you do?"
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
it's like you got to just be able to communicate things quickly and simply.
yeah. And that's not just you and me chatting at a bar or at a networking event. That's my website, that's my business
Right.
card, that's my LinkedIn profile, and everything else, isn't it?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because if you look at my business card and all it's got on there is my name,
Right. What does that
it's
mean?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, what are the biggest mistakes that people are making on their website then?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. It's really just like what so it just in the course of my career, I've worked at several different like landing page companies. So I've had to review a ton of landing pages and opt-in pages and everything like that. And I would say usually some of the biggest stuff is just trying to be too cute and clever
Yeah,
instead of just like just tell me what it is. But do that right above like the fold, so to speak, where you just like this is the first thing you see on the site. Just tell me what it is, what it's going to do for me.
yeah. So, how did you get into all this then, Jeff?
Yeah, so back when I was like pursuing music, and I think maybe 2008, 2009, I moved to Nashville, and
That that is the only place you're going to move to if you're going to do music, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
one of the main ones definitely. And while I was there, like the only jobs I could get were temp jobs, and
Okay.
some of them were cool, some of them just mind numbing. And I was at one of the mind numbing ones, and I ended up emailing my wife about just like how awful the job was, and just like knew there was so much more for me and all of that kind of stuff, and basically trashed the job and then sent it off. But I actually sent it to my boss, who had a similar name to my wife, and it auto populated my boss's email address. And so I ended up getting
No,
fired that day.
no. Oh
And
my goodness.
yeah, so it
Oh,
was
I
one of
wish
those
I'd have
like,
been a fly on the wall for that one.
yeah, I was like horrified, but it actually ended up being like a catalyst because I was I can't go back and do that anymore.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
right at
yeah.
the same time, Fiverr had just come out,
Okay.
and so I got on there and was like looking, and it's like, man, there's all these people doing voiceovers, but like their audio sounds horrible. Because I was in the band, I had recording gear, so it's like I can at least make them sound better. And so I put my listings up, and I think within like a day had several jobs, and that those turned into like long term things. And I had replaced my temp job income in like couple weeks. It was like, wow, this
Wow.
is incredible. And so ended up starting a video and voiceover business, and did that for quite a while. And then while I was doing that, I ended up moving back to Minnesota, where I just kind of randomly got connected with the CEO of Leadpages, which had just come out, and then joined the team there, and just kind of kept that process going. I stayed several years there, and then went to another Shopify app that had a landing page builder and some other things. And so kind of just rode that wave for quite a while.
Wow. You definitely earned your spurs, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. And do you still do your music now?
Here and there. So my band, we just got back together for just a fun jam night on Friday.
Okay. Any gigs coming up then? Come
No,
on.
got to get
No.
something though, so my kids can see that, like, yeah, dad is somewhat cool.
Well, so we've obviously talked about music because my guitar's behind me. Um, it starts off being cool, then it's oh god, Dad, you're so
Yeah,
embarrassing, and then
yeah.
it gets good again. So yeah, it's all
All right.
good fun, but
I just hope it
yeah,
inspires them to want to pick up an instrument or something.
yeah. Are they playing yet?
Here and there. Yep,
Yeah.
not a ton.
Okay. Maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely cool. Okay, so and all this stuff, right? I'm thinking I've got a landing page, I've got a website, I've got two websites, I've got product pages. All of that has to be telling everybody what the pitch is, doesn't it?
Hmm. Yeah, and it's all just like communication. It's just tell like what I don't care about. 20 different videos, 50 PDFs, all of the stuff. I want to know what that stuff is going to deliver. Like, what
Yeah.
is the result I'm going to get? And I want to know that it's for me. Those are the like, really at the core of it, what you have to communicate.
Yeah, and I talk to people about this all the time with the LinkedIn training that I do, and you see on their website or on their LinkedIn that they've won an award for this, they've won an award for that, and you sort of like, no one cares about that. They care about what they're going to get from it. So, what's your advice
Totally.
for that then, Jeff?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't care about the awards like you had mentioned until they know that you're relevant to them.
Yeah,
They're like, "Oh, okay, this person could help me. What are their credentials or like what's their experience?" That's when it opens that door. But yeah, I think like letting people know that you're relevant to what they're looking for by communicating like, "Hey, I understand, X, Y, and Z," which are things that should be unique to whatever audience you're trying to talk to.
yeah, and that goes with the LinkedIn headline as well, then, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Because that's the
Yeah.
very first thing that we're going to see on LinkedIn. So, what's the best one you've ever seen?
That's a good question. I don't remember any right off the top of my head where I'm like, "Oh man, that one's brilliant." Um, but I can always tell the ones that they've put some thought and time into it and use it almost like a landing page.
Yeah, yeah, because the other thing is you don't want accountant, bookkeeper,
Right.
lawyer, real estate agent. You want something a little bit more funky and different, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would vote for that versus just, yeah, straight up like bookkeeper.
Yeah, absolutely. And that tells me what you do, but then I'm just putting you in the same vein as every other
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
bookkeeper, and
Yeah.
you've got to stand out. So in your time, what's given you the most joy with the marketing things that you've done? What have you what do you enjoy most out of everything that you've do or done?
Yeah. Um I would say the thing that's super fun for me, just because like I've had to do it so much, is like these days when we have a launch coming up or a new campaign and having to put on some music and just jam out the funnel pages and all of that kind of stuff. Building that stuff is usually super fun for me because I can now, I don't wanna say I can do that in my sleep, but, like, I'm pretty good at it because 'cause I've had to do it so much that it's like I don't have to think quite as hard. So then I can put music on and, like, really make it, like, a really fun vibe and everything while I'm jamming out on the pages.
Okay, I can just imagine this. What are we listening to then, Jeff? What are we listening to?
I have a Spotify list that I just put on and, have it shuffle in things that it knows about me, and
Right.
I like to have that come on and then also have it pull in new stuff where I'm like, "Oh, what was that? That was really cool."
Yeah, based on your listening. So
Yeah.
you've got your music playing. You're in the zone. Okay, you're building a landing page and then follow up emails. Is that right?
Yep. Yep.
Right. Where do we start in all of this then?
Yeah, so starts with the messaging and like the positioning of what it is that you're communicating. So if it's like an opt-in page, what is the pitch to get somebody to opt in? And so like there again, pitch doesn't mean like me, they're like, hey, sleazy car salesman. That just means like there's a pitch at like every step when you need somebody to move forward. And that pitch is just the copy that's on the page, or, if it's on like a webinar, that's the pitch at the end of the webinar to just get somebody to move to the next step. And so, like, usually when creating pages, like, you need that first of just like write down the copy of how are we going to get somebody to opt in? Like, what are we going to tell them to get them to actually want to put in their email address? And then once you have that, then it's just like, cool, we got to just make it look pretty.
But then each email is another pitch, isn't it? Because
Hmm.
you're moving them down
Yep.
the funnel. Do you talk funnels?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So every single what you're saying there is genius because every single thing, every single interaction you're having with somebody is another form of pitch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're
Yeah.
getting them to do the
Yeah.
next thing.
Anytime you need to
Um,
convince somebody to to do something, that's you're essentially pitching them.
yeah. And what's the easiest thing to get people to do?
Ooh. Um, well, it depends. But if you have an audience or a person or something like that who you have aligned with what they're actively looking for, that's usually the easiest scenario to get somebody to take the next step, whether that's like, opt in for something or book a call. When you don't have that alignment, that's when it's like just pushing a boulder uphill. So that's why you usually want to align your offering with what your market is actively looking for so that you can at least open the door to talk to them. Whereas if you don't meet them where they're at, it's harder to get them to even just listen to you.
Yeah, yeah. And you're doing all this over socials as well.
Yeah, so I mean, content there, you gotta like meet people where they're at and talk about the symptoms they're experiencing so they can identify like, oh, that's me. Totally. I've done that. Oh, yes, man. How many times have I done that? Like that's the kind of stuff. So then that gets them to stop long enough to listen to what you're talking about.
Yeah. And which is your favorite platform, social media then, Jeff?
I'm mainly on Instagram. I like that the most. Have just kind of started posting on TikTok again too, which has been interesting. But Instagram is my main platform.
And how often do you post on Instagram?
I try to do like once a day. I know you should be posting more and like all of this stuff, but I also have other things that I have to get done.
Oh, you got a life. You've got some
Yeah,
kiddos, and that's the other thing, isn't it? And
yeah.
surely posting every single day is enough, isn't it? On Instagram.
I am no expert, so I'm just gonna issue that caveat of like, I don't have like the formula of like you got to post 9 times a day and whatever. My thought is, as long as I'm consistent, that's at least something.
Yeah, and this is the thing, isn't it? It is the consistency because you can't grow a business if you're going to do pile all in here, do that for a
Mhm.
week, and then pile all in somewhere else, do that for a week. And
Yeah.
we're not seeing you, so
Yep.
yeah, you've got to have some consistency. And so when you're working with people, do they turn around to you and they just don't get it, and you have to bang their head against something hard, or do people get it straight away?
Yeah, so usually like when I'm working with somebody, because really when you think about, putting together like messaging and positioning, it's harder stuff because it's all like mental, like thinking through it and like, oh wow, what are they really asking for and all of that kind of stuff. They just want to breeze through that. And so where I have to kind of be the hole poker or, the proverbial bang their head against the wall is like, okay, let's go deeper. Like, I don't think they would say that because you know what I mean? Like just pushing whole or like pushing them to go deeper and pushing them to like analyze farther so that we get to the actual stuff where people are gonna be like, oh, totally. Like you want them to have that, and then you also want them the like I don't want to swear, but like you want to have them have an OS moment. Like, oh,
Yeah. Boom.
dang it, I've
Yeah.
totally been doing that. Like, you wanna have them make that realization on their own so that
Yes.
that way they're like, "Wow, okay, this guy really gets me."
Yeah. Yeah. So the coaching is a big part of what you do because you
Yep.
just we're not going to learn if you just spoon feed us.
Yeah, and, like, the hard thing, and I'm totally guilty of this too, is, like, when you're working on your own stuff, it's so hard to be objective and be like, "Is this, deep enough?" And all because like, "Oh, man, I think I'm so deep." And then you say it to somebody else, and it's just like, "No, that's." And so having that objectivity is super powerful. And I mean, like, I've worked my own process on myself, and it was like, this is so hard. But then I had my friend just walk me through my process. I gave him the questions I ask and everything and told him how I do it. And he walked me through it. And it was like, dude, you did great. Because just having somebody else be like, I need you to go deeper. And I don't, do you think they'd really say that? Like, like that kind of stuff. It was like super helpful and actually ended up with a really good pitch for my own stuff.
Yeah. When you sit down and you watch a TV, I don't know if you ever get a chance to watch TV, and the commercial comes on. Do you watch it and think, "Oh my goodness, I could help them. That was rubbish."
Um, in total transparency, I'm usually just like, "Ugh, go away." Like, I wanna, like, keep watching what I'm watching, but, man, sometimes, yes, it's hard to not especially when it's, like, the production quality of the commercial is also bad. It's like, "Oh, you guys, like, ooh, I wonder how much this cost."
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? I love watching commercials because not because I like buying the stuff, but I
Right.
love to see how these great minds work.
Yep.
And some of them you see them and you go, wow, that is genius. Is there any of those that come to mind, Jeff?
Um, it's more of like a branding play than it is like, wow, tight messaging and stuff. But here in the States, we have these commercials for an insurance company, Progressive Insurance, and they always have like really funny ads. And they had a series with Peyton Manning, who's a football player, and Brad Paisley, who's like a country music singer. Those were some of my favorites, and they did like 4 or 5 of them in a row, and, I always found them hilarious, and that was kind of more of like a branding play because, like, I still remember those commercials, and I know that
Yeah,
they're for
yeah,
Progressive, and that's what
absolutely.
for branding, that's all you really want is just people to remember.
Yeah, yeah, because insurance is sort of like, everyone sells insurance,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
but I'm gonna go with Progressive because yeah, that football player is in there.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's really cool. But a lot of us don't have the big bucks
Right.
for superstars. So should we be doing our own videos? Should we, what's the best way to market our own businesses?
Yeah, I mean, I personally feel like unless it's, like, just a commoditized product and you don't need somebody in your videos, like you should totally be creating more of like a personal brand or something like that where people can get to know your face and what you're about and how you think about things. And so yes, I do think that most people should be creating their own content. And really, because when you think about it, like most people buy from people, not just nameless corporations at this point. They want to have that connection. They want to have that, like, oh man, I love that person and how they think and how they talk about this. And so you want to actually put that on display, like let people get to know you, let people see your personality. And you'll be for some people and you won't be for other people, but the people that you are for, those are the ones that you want as your clients.
Yeah,
So it's like you gotta
yeah,
put yourself out there to kind of filter out the people that you just don't resonate with. Because I think we all have people where it's like, just not for me.
yeah.
And that's perfect. That's actually what you want. You don't want to attract everybody because then work with nobody.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing, isn't it? We all, lots of people follow Elon Musk, but not so many people are following the Tesla and all the
Right.
other companies. And that's what we've got to remember, isn't it? So it's all about
Yep.
the getting out there, letting people see us. So there's lots of photos, lots of videos. Anything else we should be doing to build our personal brand?
Yeah, I mean, this is just some stuff that I've seen, and as I'm like building my own out, like learning, is if you can demonstrate your value instead of tell your value, that's always better than anything. And what I mean by that is like let's say you were on a call with a client or something or a meeting and like your expertise was on display, like hey, you walked somebody through a process or you taught something, and just like let people see you doing your thing rather than hey, I was on this meeting and I did this thing. Like rather than telling them what they're seeing or what you did, just show them.
Yeah, okay. So a demonstration or something like that, so
Yeah.
that then it makes more sense.
So
And
then they can see it themselves rather than you tell them.
yeah, yeah, and it's better storytelling because we remember stories, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I don't know if you've heard of something called AI. There's a little program called
No, what's
ChatGPT.
that?
Is it come over to the States yet?
Oh no, we're back in the 1800s over
All
here.
right.
Yeah,
So
no, it's everywhere, man. That's crazy.
yeah, and so people think, oh, I can be a marketer now. Hey, ChatGPT, write me some marketing copy for my
Yeah.
website. Boom, there we go. Um, what, what's your advice there, please?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I like using it to brainstorm of just like, hey, here's what I'm thinking about writing. Here, you know what I mean? It's still coming from me rather than like, hey, I need you to just write this thing. Because
Yeah,
usually what I see is you still need the expertise to look at its outputs and determine like, ooh, like paragraph one is really good, but then the rest of it sucks or whatever. So you still need to be able to discern like, wow, that was a really good piece, but hey, I want you to come back and fix the rest of it and do this with it. Like you still have to like direct it. But if you just, put it in and take what it gives you, it's usually not the greatest.
No, no. So use it for ideation, but not for actually writing.
Yeah. And like you can use it for writing too, but that's where you have to become the editor. Like you have to be the person that still knows what the heck you're talking about and
Yeah,
whether it's going to, land with your audience, because you do usually know your audience best, but don't just take ChatGPT for gospel.
yeah. And is that your main one that you use?
Yeah, I like ChatGPT a lot, because it's also got like the voice option. I love having conversations with it, especially like while I'm driving or something.
All right. Okay.
But then there's I've been messing a little bit with like VO3 by Google,
Yeah.
and some of the more video generation things, and I found one that was actually like really cool. And it's actually just like you buy credits to the platform, and then they have access to all of the different AI tools, and it's called fall.ai, like FAL.ai. And I thought that was cool because, man, when you start like, well, I got to pay $5 for this one, $10 for this one, it just like adds up really quick because there's so many different
Yeah.
tools.
Yeah.
So I thought
Yeah.
that was cool, where it's like, okay, cool, I'll just buy credits in one spot and then I can use them as needed on all the different tools.
Yeah. That makes an awful lot of sense. Yeah. Cool. And so you were telling me that you've actually built something with ChatGPT as well.
Yeah, yeah. So it's my Pitch GPT, which is basically like my framework for putting together a pitch that converts cold audiences. I program that into a GPT that takes people through that process. It's it's pretty good. It's about like 90% of like it would be having me there, but it gets you like a lot farther because it just asks the questions that bring about the answers a little bit better.
No, that sounds
But
absolutely cool. How do we get hold of that, Jeff?
yeah, so it's Jeff Wenberg, JEFFWENBERG. I just want to make sure I have this right. / pitch GPT.
Awesome.
Yep, all one word.
That'll be if you scroll down on the podcast, you'll be able to see that, and we'll drop that in this live as well, so people can see that too.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Right, any words of wisdom, because we're nearly up to the end of the show. What haven't I asked you today, Jeff?
Oh man. Um, yeah, you've asked some great questions. I don't have any other questions. The thing I guess I would leave your audience with is, be thinking about your audience, your person. What are they like actively looking to solve? Like, what are they actively Googling, looking on YouTube, looking on social media to figure out the solution to? And that's what you need to be talking about, not things that come after that. Get them in the door with the thing that they're actively looking for, and communicate that you understand that and can solve that specific problem, and then get them in the door and then expose them to the fact that, okay, if we're going to solve A, we have to actually solve B and C first, and then that will solve A. Don't lead with, hey, we got to solve B and C first because that's what's actually causing A, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
it's usually like people just overcomplicate it and make it harder than it needs to be. When somebody's looking for a solution to a problem, show them that you can solve the problem they're looking for, and it'll be a lot smoother.
Perfect. What a great word of wisdom to end. I'm not going to say goodbye just yet, because next week I've got Tom Griffiths coming in. He's the numbers guy to CEOs, and he's doing some amazing stuff on LinkedIn. So I'm going to be picking his brains and chatting to Tom. So that's next week. This week, thank you very much, Jeff, for coming along, and have a great Halloween.
Yeah,
It's a
thanks for having me.
it's a big thing out there for you guys, yeah?
Yeah, it's gonna be wild.
Awesome. Jeff, you've been an absolutely amazing guest. Brilliant stuff. All the contact details are in the show notes. So yeah, thanks very much indeed.
Yeah,
And
thanks for having me.
yeah, cheery bye. Thank you so much for watching or listening to my show this week. I want to bring to you people that can help us running our business. I love having a chat. I'm very nosy, very curious, and I'd love to ask questions. So if you want to be a guest, or if you've got some ideas for guests, let me know. And if you want me to help you with your LinkedIn, get in touch, because I want to give you a voice. Now, that could just be using LinkedIn, but I do other things as well. So I can help you with a podcast, a live show, and all kinds of other amazing things. So get in touch. My name is Ashley Leeds. I'm the 15-minute guy, and you can find me on LinkedIn.